What's new in Microsoft 365?
Awesome. Thank you for the introduction, Daniel, and good morning, everyone. As Daniel mentioned, my name is Arslan. I am a business development specialist here at Klarinet Solutions, and today my goal is to cover some of the most important Microsoft 365 updates and releases that occurred in the past month. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so to start off, we have a couple of the most important updates that pertain to a number of Microsoft 365 apps. The first new feature on our list is the ability to share to Teams from Outlook. With this, users can now share an email conversation from Outlook, including attachments to any chat or channel in Teams. When a user is sharing an email from the Outlook desktop client or Outlook on the web, Share to Teams in Outlook will either launch a window in the Teams desktop client if it is installed, or open a window within Outlook. So then when a recipient opens up their Teams app, they will see a preview of the email message, which they can open to view the full content by clicking on the expand option. This update is a great way to share email conversations without having to manually copy and paste conversations into Teams or continuously CC people on emails. Next on our list, we have the Microsoft Office app that is now fully optimized for iPads. With this release, you can practically take your work wherever you need to go and get stuff done through any device. So now that Microsoft Office app is combined with iPad tablets, you can use your daily apps, write notes, download files, and leverage other additional tools without needing to only rely on just your laptop or phone. Moving on, Microsoft has recently published the 2021 Release Wave 1 plans for Dynamics 365 and the Microsoft Power Platform. The reason why this is important is because we will begin to see a list of new capabilities that will be released between April 2021 through September 2021. These new plan features for Power Apps, Power Automate, and even Power BI will provide you with significant capabilities to help transform your business using process automation and modern applications. So a lot is coming with the Microsoft Power Platform and Dynamics 365. So be sure to stay tuned. And next we have Microsoft launched a new feature that will allow you to send SharePoint pages to Yammer. Users will be able to easily share SharePoint sites and pages in Yammer communities by using the Send To menu. As you know, Microsoft 365 is always finding new ways to create Yammer posts, questions, polls, and praises directly from a SharePoint page. This is a very simple yet powerful feature for those looking to leverage more of Yammer in 2021. And now the last Microsoft 365 update that was announced this month, but is going to be rolled out in April of 2021, is the ability to manage how long guests can access SharePoint Online and OneDrive documents. This is a new managed sharing feature that tenant administrators have been pushing Microsoft to deliver, and it's finally here. Admins will soon be able to create a policy that automatically revokes access for external guests to SharePoint Online sites and individual OneDrives after a defined period of time. So with this policy, you can limit guest user access. Therefore, guests who are no longer active partners or clients cannot retain indefinite access to documents and files. Next slide. Awesome. So focusing now on what's new in Microsoft Teams. We have our first update here, which will be rolled out in mid-March of 2021. And its purpose is to align the experience for creating a team from different team interfaces. This update here is very important because it has a potential of changing how organizations leverage Teams across different Microsoft apps and the way groups will be created moving forward. It will also bring consistency in user experience for Teams made via the Team Admin Center. Some of the ways this will affect your organization is, one, Teams can now send welcome emails to new members rather than group welcome emails. Two, members of new teams will not receive updates for events scheduled in their group calendar. And three, unlike current teams created in the Teams Admin Center, new teams will be hidden in Outlook Experience after this change. In other words, creating a team will also create a Microsoft 365 group, but not necessarily a group that you can browse with on Outlook. Overall, this update is pretty complex and deserves a little bit more attention. So Daniel, do you think you can
Oh, I
add a
think you
little
actually
more?
explained it pretty well. I think the thing about it is like today we're talking about groups.
Uh-huh.
And so I think most of the people on this call or on this, on this whole thing, Tech Talk, know that when you create a team in Teams, you're creating a group in Microsoft 365 and, yeah, whatever. Anyway, the point is now with this update that I was like, oh my gosh, really is when you create a team, you're creating a Microsoft 365 group, but it's not the same as creating a Microsoft 365 group in Azure AD or the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. And I'm like, oh, fantastic. So now we're going to have almost like two different kinds of groups that you get created from a Microsoft 365 perspective, whether that was created in Teams or somewhere else. So just further adding complexity here. I mean, for good reason, I think in some cases, in some way, but it's also like, okay, yeah, that's why I thought it was especially relevant for today's TED Talk. So anyway, all right, moving on.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Moving on to mid-March of 2021, we'll see the introduction of a one-on-one call recording policy. So how will this affect your organization? Currently, one-to-one call recording is controlled by CS Teams meeting policy, allow cloud recording attribute. After this change, it will be controlled by CS Teams calling policy, allow cloud recording for calls attribute. By default, this new policy attribute will be set to false. So one-on-one call recording will not work unless you change this attribute to be true. In other words, if you don't want to have one-on-one call recording enabled, you don't need to do anything. Next slide. The next update on Microsoft Teams is a revised in-meeting share experience. So Microsoft Teams desktop users on Windows and Mac will soon have a new share experience while in meetings. When presenters take control, they'll see a new design for displaying their screen, window, or whiteboard or PowerPoint during meetings. This is a really cool feature that will make the screen sharing experience a lot more efficient and simple for presenters.
So, I mean, with some clients, obviously we're all teams, with the exception of TechTalks. We use Zoom for that because it's just a better webinar experience from our standpoint. But yeah, when we're sharing with a lot of clients, talking to you guys are asking, hey, I want to share my screen. I hear a lot like, okay, what button do I push? Okay, what's that there? Or a lot of times you'll see like people will share a one screen and they don't know that they shared that one screen, not the whole screen or one app. So hopefully this makes things a lot clearer.
Absolutely. Now, our final update for Microsoft Teams is a new meeting option for managing large team meetings in Outlook for Windows. Team users will soon see a prompt to set meeting options when they organize a meeting with 40 or more participants or 10 or more distribution lists. So if a meeting organizer who is a team user selects the Set Options button, the Teams meeting option dialog offers a user options such as who can bypass the lobby, who can present, and chat within a meeting. If the organizer selects the Not Now button, the meeting invitation takes on the default team meeting options for the tenant. So keep in mind that Teams meeting option can be set anytime before or during the meeting, so you have that flexibility just in case. Next slide.
Cool. I can see this being good for like, bigger all hands meetings or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, that wrapped up our Microsoft Team updates. Let us now take a look at what's going on in SharePoint. One of the most recent announcements are the SharePoint Web Part Toolbox updates. So SharePoint is updating the Web Part Toolbox to make it easier for page authors to find and use web parts on their pages and use posts. They've added categories, a toggle to switch between a grid view and a list view, web part descriptions in the list view, and a section for users to see their most frequently used web parts. This tool update will definitely make administrators and authors' life a lot easier when they go into their toolbox and decide to do work on any SharePoint site.
Yeah, that's kind of a big one, especially when we looked at Classic. Classic, the UI wasn't the best, but you had these categories. You choose a category and they had the web parts, and it was like easy to kind of sort of navigate through it, even though it's kind of a clunky UI. Hopefully this will be even better for modern. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, user experience is definitely going to be a lot better for authors. And okay, so another really great feature update that happened last month was this update for SharePoint Spaces. For those who are not familiar, SharePoint Spaces is a web-based kind of immersive platform that allows you to create and share browser-based mixed reality environments. using assets such as like 3D modeling, 360 images and videos, and any other two-dimensional content that you have. In October of 2020, SharePoint Spaces became generally available. However, Microsoft SharePoint with this update allows you to easily open spaces in all SharePoint sites. So the moment you click on Create New button within SharePoint, you'll see a drop-down menu pop up on your screen that automatically allows you to open spaces. This will definitely be a feature that administrators will want to introduce to their authors, as well as put in place appropriate permissions. Next slide. Yeah, that concludes our Microsoft 365 updates for the past month.